So, hey guys, now finally we get to the meat of the DC Comics, you know, best comic I just think is just freaking awesome and amazing. We all know that I'm going to review next is Batman, issue number 4. Now, you guys all know, like I said, this is like basically the meat of DC Comics right now for the New 52 is, Batman and Justice League. Those are my most anticipated comics every month. And I just can't wait to see what happens next. Of course, I said like Batman is a really, really great series. It's my number one comic, and I really wanted to know what was going to happen next in issue 4, and now we have it. And now we will begin reviewing issue number 4. Now, in the last issue, we found out that actually the Court of Owls was actually kind of sort of real because there was actually a hidden room in each building that the Waynes have built, and there's a hidden room with the Court of Owls in there, just for them. And so of course Batman finds a whole bunch of them, and he's in one of them also. So he's looking through everything and trying to investigate and stuff. And finally we see an explosion, big, like he tripped a wire, and basically the whole room is in flames and engulfed. And so what happens is we open that with a really great monologue. It's just really great. Like I said, Scott Snyder makes everything into a character. He even makes a tripwire into a character. He says people think tripwires are scary, but they actually do bring fear into you. Seriously, if you read this issue, he explains a tripwire like it's a human being, and it's just great. I love how he explains everything. It's awesome. And so that's what he basically does for a couple pages. He just explains how the tripwire, is a big fear for people, that, the person who actually, put the tripwire there is actually makes you scared, because that person knows that you're there, and he's basically watching you because he knows every area. He knows this whole surrounding and stuff like that, and it's great. And of course Batman escapes, but of course he almost loses his life again. And so what happens is that Alfred and Dick Grayson are actually talking. They're actually monologuing and talking. And, basically Dick Grayson's in the Batcave, and, he finds Bruce, and all what Bruce is doing is he's doing an autopsy report. He's trying to, find, trying to find something, in the bones of Alan Wayne's dead remains. He's trying to find some kind of clue or something like that in his remains, trying to analyze everything and stuff like that. And while he's trying to analyze this, Dick Grayson's trying to talk to, Bruce. And Bruce is a bit stubborn and hard-headed about this because, Dick Grayson's saying, he's worried, Alfred's worried, even Commissioner Gordon's worried that he's going, overboard with this, that everything's getting to his head, that he's probably underestimating his villain, which is his name's actually Talon, so he's basically underestimating him, and it's getting the better of Batman. And he almost died twice. He was in a near-death situation twice already. He got stabbed, jumped off the top of the tower, and now he barely survived an explosion. And so he's trying to warn Bruce, but Bruce is kind of stubborn. All he keeps saying is oh, computer. He's just talking to the computer most of the time and trying to ignore Dick and his warnings. And of course, Dick Grayson's maybe the Court of Owls are actually real, and then Bruce is they're not real. I already did this research. I already know it's not real. And he's how do you know? And he's well, because I did it when I was a kid. So what happens was that now we get a backstory about Bruce when he was a child. So what he says is that when his parents died, he saw a sign from the Court of Owls. He already knew the story as a kid, and he saw that there was an owl's nest in his house. And of course that's a warning that basically the Court of Owls have targeted you, has marked you, and now you're going to die. So Bruce saw that, and when that happened, when the owl was there, a few days later, of course, his parents got killed by Joe Chill, and he thinks that the Court of Owls was behind this. So he started researching. He said this is one of the first things he did as a kid when he was training to be a detective, was to solve his parents' murder, and he was trying to solve the mystery behind the Court of Owls, and he actually did. He found clues and stuff, and he got closer and closer to believing that it was real until he went to a secret room in a building, and basically he got trapped there in the attic, and basically the whole room that he thought that, oh, there's like people conspiring in here, there's the Court of Owls is just like in this room all night, and sometimes like, you know, they just talk about assassinating someone or something like that, but really the room hasn't been used for years, and Bruce got stuck up there, and he was stuck for a week, and he almost died because of it. And so he realizes that, you know, the Court of Owls isn't real, that you shouldn't let your emotions get the better of you, you know? Like, that's what he learned. That's his first lesson when he learned to be a detective, that don't let the case get to you. Don't let your emotions, you know, cloud your judgment and stuff. And that's a great backstory. I actually like that. That maybe that's the way that, you know, Bruce handles situations now, that he doesn't let an investigation get to him. Like, you know, what happens if... But usually, you know, what happens. Like, what happens if, you know, like Jason Todd or like Dick Grayson got captured? Yeah, of course it will get to him because, you know, that's Bruce. You know, he's a bit cold-hearted at times, but at times, you know, he shows the side that, you know, we don't normally see, and it's really great. But yeah, and so what happens is that, you know, Dick's try to prove to him that, you know, the Court of Owls is real and stuff like that, and he's like, no, you're not. And he says, I have to go. You know, I have to go talk to Jim. And basically he goes down to the sewers, and we find something new that he found out from Alan Wayne's bones, that when Alan Wayne fell in the sewer and died, they thought that he drowned, but he actually didn't. The bones were actually punctured, just a small puncture, like he had small puncture wounds in his bones, so basically he was stabbed to death 50 times by a dagger. So we think that maybe the Court of Owls did kill Alan Wayne in the sewers. And he finds out these clues that there's like graphite or some kind of residue in the sewers. And basically we see an ominous couple of eyes. And we see, of course, Talon come and strike Batman down and capture him. And while he's capturing him, he's saying the whole Court of Owls rhyme. And it's really great. It's really awesome. And then we find Batman in a maze. And we see 3 people wearing the Court of Owls mask and saying the Court of Owls have chosen you or something like that. It's kind of good. It's really great. Now, will Batman get out of this sticky situation? Find out next time. We're just trying to make this like those like old campy Batman shows. Like it's like a cliffhanger. You know, like, will Batman escape in time? Will he get through the labyrinth? Will he get through the maze? Or will he die? Find out next time in the next issue of Batman. But yeah, it's great. I love it. Even though this is really heavy, you know, really dialogue driven right now, like, it's just great. It's a great story to read. I mean, I don't mind if it's like there's a lot of dialogue, just make the story interesting, and that's what Scott Snyder does. He makes everything really great. He makes so much good like backstory for Bruce as a child, and it was just amazing. It's flat out awesome. I love it. I really think you guys should check this out. I mean, seriously, Scott Snyder, keep writing Batman. You're awesome. Love Batman. That is my review. Just keep picking this up.